Hi, I'm Emily with Meeting House Farm. It's the beginning of July, and I'm so excited that you're here on the farm for a plant walk. Let's take a walk and see what's ready for harvest, what's blooming, and what's coming soon. Come on. It's really hot here in Maine and humid, and at this time of year, it feels like the weeds just pop up overnight. But we also have an explosion of plants, like our beautiful mulleins. This one's ready to bloom, and if you look over there, you'll see mulleins in full bloom. Aren't they gorgeous? They always remind me of ladies in really fancy dresses. Mullein is a bronchial dilator, the leaf, and we usually harvest the leaf of the mullein in the first year. It's a biennial, so these are second years. You can use the flower to make an oil for ear infections. But primarily we're using the leaves here, putting it in a tea as a bronchial dilator. Let's also see these beautiful calendula flowers. They're just really coming into their own, and this is a later crop that we're looking at right now, so we'll be harvesting starting now and going in through frost. You may also notice we have some really lovely lavenders. These are in the middle of harvest right now, and oh, they smell so good. I can smell the heat on them, and it just wafts, the fragrance wafts right off. Also almost ready for harvest are absinthe. This is an Artemisia, and Artemisia absinthium, and it's a beautiful silver foliage plant. It also has little yellow flowers and a very distinctive smell. You may have heard of absinthe because it's been used for centuries as a liqueur, particularly in France. It's bright green. And in fact, when you make an extract out of this, it is very, very green. We typically harvest this and use it for smudge sticks and incense, but you can also use it as a digestive. It's incredibly, incredibly bitter. So this is just about ready to flower, which means it is ready for harvest, particularly if we're doing an extraction. If we are making a smudge stick, I might wait until it actually blooms. So it'll bloom within the next 7 days or so. I also want to point out where our echinaceas are here in the month of July. So this is the beginning of July that we're taking this walk, and these echinaceas are almost blooming. They'll be blooming within 7 to 14 days, I would say. In fact, we have a few that are actually blooming now. And within about 2 weeks, this whole field will be full of beautiful echinacea blossoms. And we will begin to harvest. So once we get a full bloom, we'll go ahead and start harvesting the leaf and the flower. We will make an extract from both of those as well as drying them. And then in the fall, we'll harvest the root and we'll add that to the extracts. We'll make 2 separate extracts, blend them together. I may also do a double extract where I take an extract of the leaf and the flower, and then using that extraction, we'll make an extract of the root. That's called a double extract. We'll also be drying the leaf, the flower, and the root as they're coming through harvest. Keep in mind, echinacea dried is only good for about 8 months. It's one of the quickest deteriorating herbs. So when you're buying your echinacea, make sure it's fresh. I'll point out a couple other things here. This is our nettle patch, and we've had a lot of rain, and so we actually are going to get yet another harvest, which I'm very excited about, and this will be harvested this week. We also have catnip that's ready for harvest. This is the famous catnip that cats love. We'll be harvesting this to dry and sending off to all the kitties that we love. Now I have something special to show you this time. This is Elecampane. And Elecampane often gets knocked over by the wind if not staked. But right now we have this amazing specimen. Look how tall she is. This is Inula helenium, and it's primarily a respiratory herb. We use the root to support the lungs as a lung tonic. It's also an expectorant. The flowers are not used, and you can see she's almost ready to bloom here. And once she blooms, there will actually be sort of a scaly fruit up there. We don't use any of that. We don't use these stunning leaves. They're just amazing in the garden. It's the root that we harvest, and we'll harvest that in the fall. And when we do a fall root walk, you'll see, and we'll show you the actual root there. So just pointing out this really amazing statuesque garden plant. Let's peek over here. We have Valerian, best known for helping you sleep. It's the root that we use, but she's in bloom right now and smells amazing. If you have Valerian growing in your garden, beware. If you let her bloom like this, then you'll have lots of little valerians all over. We're fine with that. We just move them back to where we can harvest them. But if you don't want to do that, then you might want to stop the valerian blooming before it gets to this stage. I do enjoy the fragrance. And again, it's the root that we're going to harvest here in the fall. I'm going to take a peek at the wood betony. This is so close to blooming, but not quite there yet. These will be beautiful purple spires in probably another week. So in August, we'll check back in. This will bloom for a solid month or so. So this wood betony is best known for being a nervine, supporting the nervous system, particularly when your nervous system is out of whack and it's causing headaches due to anxiety. This is a really old herb, was used for hundreds of years, and it's sort of fallen by the wayside now, but I think people are interested in it again. The other really interesting thing about wood betony is that you can brew the leaves lightly and they taste like black tea. So a really great substitute for black tea. I'm gonna walk back by the Echinacea. Here's one that's blooming, and it'll get deeper in color as it goes along. Lemon balm we harvested a couple of weeks ago. It's about ready to be harvested again. We usually get 4 to 5 harvests a year out of the lemon balm. I do want to just point out this. We're in Maine, for those of you who are just following us, and in Maine, Echinacea angustifolia isn't really prominent. It does much better in places like Montana. But wow, look at how this is. These are 5-year plants. I've been babying these, and they are finally coming along. We also have this really cool little fly doing some pollination. Look at that. Look at all the pollen on the little legs. Keep on working there, little one. So angustifolia is similar to purpurea. This is purpurea. The root is a little bit stronger, and it likes the prairies, not so much Maine, but this is my little patch it's been 5 years of working on. So more to come there. I think our last plant that I want to point out today is Marshmallow. This plant is also coming in right now. We see these beautiful soft leaves, and you'll notice that it has blossoms that maybe remind you of a hollyhock. That's because it's in the hollyhock family. Marshmallow primarily supports our digestive system. It's an anti-inflammatory, and it's very mucilaginous, which means gooey. The root particularly, but the leaf some too. So it can coat a sore throat and coat a mucous membrane in your digestive tract if that's inflamed and irritated. Very supportive herb for both the respiratory and digestive systems. All right, I think that ends our walk in July. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in August.